Hey, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Drafting the Magic Beyond the Draft. Before we get anything started, make sure you hit like, subscribe if you're watching on YouTube, and ring that notification bell. If you're watching anywhere else, make sure you're subscribed and liking and commenting and socialing on all of our social medias, Facebook, Instagram, X, TikTok, SpeakPipe. Leave us a SpeakPipe, whatever it might be. But Eric, today a celebration of sorts. This is our last Beyond the Draft episode of the summer. We're getting back to drafting.
Yeah, management has informed me that this is the last show of the summer.
You're darn right it has.
Before we get back to drafting, I'm excited. There's a lot of stuff that we've talked about here during the summer that we can probably draft now. And the reason I say that is I have a feeling our first maybe couple of shows, we're going to be drafting things that don't exist yet.
Ooh.
Is that too much of a spoiler?
It might be. Maybe a little bit.
Okay.
Regardless, I'm sick of doing news, so I'm excited to jump back into what we do best, and that is draft the Magic. But before we can do that, Eric, it's time for a fit check. Tell everybody about the shirt you are wearing right now.
I'm going homage to Pirates today. I got my Dead Men Tell No Tales shirt on. You can see it there. I'm not going to go too high because I did not work out this summer, so that's about as much as you're going to see. It's one of the 3 shirts I got from the Main Street Dudes. I love it. First of all, you know I'm a minimalist, Christian. I don't love a ton of stuff on t-shirts, and this is perfect because there's no designs down the side. That's not my deal. There's not a ton on the back. This one I don't even think has anything on the back, if I recall correctly.
It does not.
Yeah, okay. So I can't see back there. All right. But I love the minimalist shirt. That's what this one is. More importantly, it's freaking comfortable. And
they are extremely comfortable t-shirts.
It's not too tight. It fits perfectly for me. I love the cut. I love the fit. So Main Street Dudes hooking us up, and I love this shirt.
Meanwhile, I'm wearing I don't even remember what the official title is. We'll have it in the description of the episode, but I'm wearing there's a snake in my boot shirt. Got the snake on the front. This is my kind of t-shirt. Subtle little logo on the front, and then the back is obnoxious. It's great. I love it. But it's a pretty cool shirt. We've got it on the screen here for you as well. So make sure you take a look at the Main Street Dudes. Go over to cornerofmain.com, click on the Main Street Dudes tab, and you'll be able to see some amazing shirts. I'm getting excited about going shopping and getting some more. But I'm also excited because we're going to have one of the Main Street Dudes on our show upcoming in a couple of weeks, I believe. So we're pretty excited about it. We hope that everybody over the Main Street Dudes is having a good time and getting to see the Drafting the Magic Beyond the Draft featuring the Main Street Dudes logo, blah, blah, whatever we do. Anyway, Eric, it's time to get to the news.
There's been a lot.
There's been a lot, but nothing weighs on me more than the fact that they have officially announced the departure of the Red Car Trolley at Disney California Adventure.
You've done it again, Christian.
There is quite a list of attractions I've killed, and everything I touch dies. I think that's what I put on Instagram when they announced it. There's a lot of people that are like, oh, well, discontinue doesn't mean forever. What are you thinking, people? Like, they're not bringing this thing back. Hollywoodland's not going to be there by the end of all of this.
Well, you don't know that. Yes, we're doing this again in front of everybody after we did it in text message the other day.
It's going over there.
You don't know yet.
Yeah,
you don't know yet.
Yeah, but I do know
you might be right, but you don't know yet.
What I do know is discontinued. They were not talking about just letting it go for a couple of months. The Red Car Trolley is going to be, if not completely abolished, wildly replaced. It's going to cost them so much money to move that track if they need to. So
let me tell you why you don't know.
Yeah, I do.
When was the last time they used the word discontinued to describe an attraction?
I don't know. What else do you use?
I don't remember them saying discontinued.
Oh, geez. You little devil's advocate, you.
Because what if they come back and call it something different?
I don't think you can.
Then the Red Car Trolley was discontinued, and now it's something else.
Yeah, we'll see. Regardless, I think that they're going to both get mothballed, at least one of them at the front of the park. And that's going to stink because we all know how bad the Jolly Trolley looked towards the end of Toontown. So I'm hoping it doesn't turn into that. But if it does, somehow the Red Car Trolley will live on. Eric, I think the more important news is the much more recent breaking news. Downtown Disney's getting a little more details out here, including a bye-bye to, I believe, something that's been there since the beginning.
He's teasing while we're on the show. I love that. Like we take commercial breaks.
Oh, shut up.
Yeah, big announcement in the Disney Parks blog. All the new locations coming to downtown Disney. I've got lots of questions. I don't even know where to start. Is Marceline's what you're talking about? Is that where you want to go first?
I'm talking about Marceline's.
You and I talked about this. The store itself isn't going to change. The fundamental basis will still be there. They sell candy and sweets and goods and all that. It's just getting the new name to, what is it? Disney Wonderful World of Sweets.
Mm-hmm.
I believe it's what it's going to be called. And I've already seen the backlash on social media today. Oh, you're going to get rid of Marceline's too now. Oh, you're just getting rid of everything. And you and I talked about it over text message. Nobody knew that Marceline's was a Disney thing.
Nope. I had to tell people when I worked there.
Yeah, and slapping the name on there is going to help sales. It just is.
Mm-hmm. Major help.
This kind of ties into all the other mess about other announcements and all the other parks around the world that have been going on the last few weeks, and people just being so upset, and how you and I keep talking about get on the train or wave goodbye to us from the platform as my new catchphrase. But when companies make moves like this to try to sell, this is when I like to put in the disclaimer: breaking news, company makes move to make money.
Gasp.
Oh, wow.
What are we going to do? Yeah, they're going to make a bunch of money with us. It's ridiculous that they hadn't put the Disney name on there somewhere already, because this is going to be an outrageous amount of money that comes into it. Just by slapping the name on it, it's going to give people a little bit of clarity. If they weren't able to walk over there and look in the window already, now you're going to really know, hey, this is a Disney candy shop, and I'm full-blown expecting something on the size and scale of Goofy's out in Walt Disney World at Disney Springs, where you just have more room. There'll be probably more counters, just like you have when you walk through Candy Palace over in Disneyland, or like in that area, like, or the arcade, the Penny Arcade, whatever it is. Like, it's just going to be better for them to have more stuff. So I'm excited to see this. The location looks huge. By expanding, blowing out that wall from Dress Shop, money, baby.
Yeah, and the window there is still going to be a thing. So that's not going away.
Yep.
I just hope they do make it a little bit more whimsical on the inside, right?
Me
a little
too.
more decoration.
Well, it certainly looks decorated on the outside from that picture they gave.
Yeah.
So
that's a good sign. You hope they do that on the inside too. And we know that things being decorated has not been really the forte. If we look at Communicore Hall, let's not even get into that. But I just make it look cool. Or make it look whimsical. Give it that Disney touch. Which I'm sure people watching this now are going to scoff at me saying that, but man, you got to have some faith.
Get over yourself.
Got to have some faith.
Eric, the rest of this was just bombard after bombard of where is that going?
Where is that going?
Where is this going? And you've got that nice building across from Din Tai Fung, across that little grassy area. But those, for the most part, already have locations tied to them. It says it on the wall.
Right.
So where is Avengers Reserve, an all-new shop landing in downtown Disney at Disneyland Resort, going to go? Are we officially talking about a replacement to Rainforest Cafe and the ESPN zone? That's what I'm wondering here.
I think so. Because if you look at the Avengers, what is it called?
Avengers Reserve.
Thank you. Avengers Reserve and the D-Lander, the other shop that's opening, the building designs are similar, right? They look the same, which means they're probably going to go right next to each other. Because they're not in the same building. They don't look like they're in the same building. They could be in the same building.
Oh, I think they are. I think they're right next to each other.
No, but do you think it's one structure? Okay. I'm thinking the same thing, kind of, now that you mentioned that, because I was looking at it and maybe it was just taken from like a different angle, right? if that's the case, then I think they both go on the rainforest spot, and I think the old ESPN Zone building gets leveled and is theme park space.
Wow. Wow. Wild claim here.
Like
Yeah.
that could be another entry Esplanade, right? Where the ESPN Zone is.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I think that this is an interesting. They have a Marvel store in Florida, right? That's the only thing they're really allowed to do is have that little superhero shop at Walt Disney World in Disney Springs. This was like, oh, we're bringing everything from Disney. We got a soccer store, we got a Star Wars store. Now we're gonna have a Marvel store. Although, is that Marvel store gonna take out where that Star Wars store is?
Probably.
Fingers crossed, because we all hate it. Get rid of the trading post. It's the dumb.
It was only the trading post was put there for people who couldn't get into Galaxy.
True. Edge. Yeah. It's still dumb. I don't care.
Yeah, they don't need it anymore.
Nope.
Everybody can get into Galaxy Edge.
It is ridiculous though. What else they've announced? So they did announce that D-Lander shop, which sounds like it's going to be very much Disney but Californianized. I'm interested to see if it's going to be Disney stuff mainly, or it's going to be just like subtly Disney, almost like Main Street Dudes, an amazing place to go get t-shirts, because it says fashion for Disneyland fans, but California style isn't always obnoxious and in your face. So I'm curious here.
Which, that's what I'm hoping for. I just want a t-shirt with, maybe the Disneyland D on the front, a hat just with the Disneyland D on it, or whatever, just logo, get out. We're good. That's my style.
Yeah, seriously. I'm interested in all of this though. This seems like okay, we're not just messing around here. We're moving forward, and we might finally be getting rid of those two buildings that are just exoskeletons of themselves and what they used to be. And back in the day when Downtown Disney was awesome. Anyway, the other thing we're getting, Eric, is a new cart, and it's going to be the super cute kawaii slime cart, which I learned that kawaii means cute in Japanese. I thought it was like, oh, this is going to be Hawaiian. And then I read it and I was like, oh, okay, it's
That's
Japanese.
not how
but
you spell
still,
that.
Yeah, whatever. Shut up. Regardless, I'm really excited for this because I don't know why slime's a big deal, but it is a big deal. Big enough that I have it right here. Look at this. Look at this. I've got my PIM shot glasses filled with slime to make it, because it's on a ruler. It looks educational. I love it. Regardless,
how very Epcot of you.
What was I going to do? Just leave beer in it all day? Yeah, I can't do that. Anyway, but this is something that for some reason is a really big deal. So I like that they're not making it like a shop, because it does kind of seem like one of those fads that will eventually push out. But I think it'll be a good cart, and I think the cart will get some steam around it for sure, especially the little kids.
If it was a shop, where's it going to go?
So there's two places. Well, no, it's not going to be a shop. There's two places I think this cart can go. Number one, there is a wall up already at Downtown Disney, right in front of World of Disney, around where a cart could go. But it's really weird that there's a random wall there. I think there's a light post, or there was a light post there. But it's a big size area for just a light pole to be blocked off. So I'm curious about that. Either that, or you could throw it down near where that Tortilla Joe's building was. We'll get to that in a little bit. We got some more details on some delicious food that's coming in there. Although I do miss my Tortilla Joe's. But I'm excited about this. But Eric, we are getting a steakhouse and barbecue restaurants from a Michelin star chef. I'm going to call him Joe Isidori.
Yeah, Isidori. Yeah.
Yeah, that's his name. And I'm super excited about this. They were like, this is going to be a fine prime steaks. Like, this is going to be the really good stuff. And it sounds like I can't afford to work and can't afford to eat there, but it'll be nice to look at from the outside.
Is this the replacement for Steakhouse 55?
That was one thing that I was very curious about that we didn't get at D23 was an announcement for that space, because they've got some temporary thing over there right now, or I don't even remember what's over there right now, but like, what a weird thing to have taken out of a hotel and not really replaced. This could be your replacement that also is accessible for the Grand, because Napa Rose isn't big enough, question mark?
operationally, when you think about opening a new location in downtown Disney that is similar to something that was in a hotel, you're making a business decision to not need more staffing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's the case. I think it's a smart move if that is the case. You look at the Pixar Place Hotel, right? And the new Great Maple restaurant that's in there, that is a third party operated location. Whereas previously, when the grill was there, that was a Disney owned and operated location.
Good old PCH grill.
Yeah. So you see a shift to vendors coming in and operating locations that maybe is a little bit more cost effective. Now, obviously, the company's not going to get 100% of the revenue from these places, but is it just easier to have somebody who specializes in that type of service to operate that on a bigger scale, right? Because all the nicer places, you look at Napa Rose, you look at Carthay Circle, you look at Blue Bayou, those all have a much smaller capacity than what the new steakhouse is going to have. So you don't have to hire a staff to run a giant location like that. So operationally, it might be a little bit better. And also, if that's all they're focused on, why not? Plus, you have the barbecue place. Could you imagine? And yes, you can, because I can too. We're sitting down, we're having steaks for dinner, and we smell barbecue coming upstairs. And now you want more meat. So then it's like, all right, I'm coming back here for dinner after lunch, or I'm coming back for dinner tomorrow after I had dinner here.
Dude, they talked pulled pork, some beautiful brisket, some smoked wings. Give me all of it. I'm not going to be able to go to the steakhouse because I'm going to be stuffing my face at the quick service downstairs. Oh my good. And like parallel as well. Before we move on to the next thing, Eric, I actually took some pictures at downtown Disney that I wanted to show people over the past couple of weeks. All of a sudden, between the old Tortilla Joe's building and Splitsville, there was a wall. And there was a wall around something that had been there since the beginning of downtown Disney. And sure enough, see my updated picture. The walls are down. There is no more fountain in between Splitsville and Tortilla Joe's. Downtown Disney's changing, y'all. What in the world? That fountain sucked, by the way. But
my thought behind that fountain is it got removed because the new building for the steakhouse and barbecue place is gonna be bigger than Tortilla Joe's was, and they need the room for staging and people queuing up to go inside.
Well, and I had originally thought that they were just taking over the building, but the way the press release said taking over that footprint, I was like, oh, they're
the documents have already been made public. The Disney people online, our investigative reporters found the public filing that the Tortilla Joe's building is going to be demolished.
Can I please have all the chip fryers? Oh my gosh. Oh man, no, don't give me a fryer. I wouldn't know how to use it anyway. Anyway,
I'm worried about the safety
like
for you
walking
and your
around
family.
and walking into a wall. Seriously,
you and your family. I'd be very concerned.
The one thing I thought was interesting in this, and you can see it as I put this picture back up on the screen for everybody, the same flooring in that area is used. They didn't start using the new stuff, which tells me that the new stuff that's over on the other side of the monorail track might just sit there for a while before it starts creeping up, because they don't want this random slab of new stuff in the middle of all the old stuff. Now, granted, they have a building to knock down and build up right there, so it'd be kind of dumb to do that, then bring all the heavy equipment to sit on the new stuff. But I'm just like, can we please move forward? Get rid of the leaves on the stupid. Get rid of it all. Get rid of it all. Get rid of all of it.
It's all changing, right? I think the only reason we didn't see concept art for the new steakhouse / barbecue location is because I don't think they've named it yet. I don't think they have a logo to go on the building, and they don't want to release anything that doesn't. I think the building is done and ready to be, the building's ready. They just need to put the logos on there, and they don't know what those are yet. That building that's going to go up is going to look exactly like Jazz Kitchen in Splitsville.
Oh, 100%.
Right. So that's your aesthetic, which means the leaves and everything, those light posts are their least amount of their problems right now.
Get rid of
them. Those will eventually go. Eventually they're going to repave the whole district, and the leaf thing is on its way out.
Burn it all down. Burn it
Yeah,
all
that's
down.
that's what I'd imagine.
Meanwhile, we do have a name for a restaurant going in. Well, where is Earl of Sandwich going? Because if they're taking a second floor area, are they going? I I don't know where Earl of Sandwich is going, but regardless, it's getting a second restaurant up on top. It's called the Carnaby Tavern, and it's going to go above Earl of Sandwich. So you're
Yeah.
telling me that I'm going to be eating delicious food above Earl of Sandwich, and then I'm going to get the smell of those delicious
See?
sandwich, bruh. Come
See?
on,
Now they're going to have
come
two
on.
locations doing that with a location on top of a location.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Ridiculous.
Paseo and Tiendita slash Citrico have been doing that for decades under different names.
Mm-hmm.
They're still doing it, and now you're going to have two other locations doing that. That's the building that's going up next to Lego Store. So they're going to go. They're going to pretty much be right back where they were.
I don't think it is.
But what else is going to go in there?
There's a bar going up there that's supposed to be a different bar than this one,
I
because
think
that's
that
where Park Place is going.
I how much you want to bet those plans have changed?
Then they better start taking off that stuff on the walls because it says
Bro,
something
when did
else.
they ever move that quickly?
Listen, you're not wrong. Regardless,
Because if that the Carnaby is going to have a bar in it,
mhm,
what do you need a bar next to it for?
more alcohol. Anyway,
Well, I mean, look, you're going to have the Carnaby, you got Citrico, you've got Ballast Point. What am I missing? Naples has a bar.
mhm. I don't think this is that same spot.
But what could it be though? Where else are they going to go?
They said there's. I think that might be
Or do you
another.
think it's going on ESPN Zone?
I think it could go on ESPN Zone. It could. I'm not 100%, but
Well,
it could.
I mean, when we're running out of places, obviously,
Sure.
process of elimination, that's where it would end up.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe
Or
the
you could-
bar, maybe the bar goes on Rainforest, and the two stores go on ESPN Zone.
Yeah, because then you could essentially bring things down to the bolts
Right.
and yeah,
But
maybe.
but Rainforest and ESPN Zone are already wired to be for restaurants, right? There's gas lines and all that stuff that's already routed.
Yeah, I don't
They
think
just
you
have
want
to kind of reroute it for the new layout of the new establishment, whichever one it is.
I don't think you want to take over either of those buildings, though. They've been sitting there for
No,
a
no,
while.
no. You're not taking over the building. It's
You're just
already
taking
like
the underneath. I
yeah,
see.
right.
Yeah,
The infrastructure underneath is already
Take
routed properly.
everything down to the studs.
So they're gonna try to build the kitchen where the kitchen used to
Yeah.
be, right?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
At whichever location it
Yeah.
was. Yeah.
I am excited for this Carnaby thing. The
Yeah.
description, swinging 60s British invasion
Sure.
pop and rock bands from the UK. Let's go. Feature a patio with an indoor outdoor full service bar. Give it to me now. Give it to me. Why did you give me Centrico first? Why didn't you give me this new Earl of whatever?
First of all, at Centrico, they have a holiday margarita out right now. You and I got to go make a trip. I'm just saying.
You're paying.
Yeah, I'm all right with that.
Oh, hey.
Yeah, why not?
Anyway.
You do a lot of work on this show. I owe you.
All right, then. I'll take that.
The British invasion part of the bar is interesting. Those drinks might be a little bit more expensive because they have to pay the licensing for all that music that's going to be playing in there.
That and the amount of Tito bottles that they're going to be throwing around. Let's go.
Wow, you just called them out.
They drink a lot. They drink a lot of Tito's out there. Or whatever drink of choice they want.
Or yeah, whatever clear drink.
Hey, Tito's, if you want to hear your name on this, you better put the money down, baby. Otherwise, I'm cutting it. Ridiculous.
Oh yeah, what a threat! I'm sure they're gonna cave to your demands immediately.
Yep. If you heard the name, they gave us money. Anyway, hey, do you want to give us money? You have the opportunity to do that. You contact us at some random email address that doesn't exist. And actually, draftingthemagic@gmail.com. It does exist. Don't you send hate mail there. Don't you dare. Leave that in the comments. That's where we want it. Hey, Eric, did you want to talk about the cruise line stuff?
My favorite.
I don't even know what it is. I just heard you complaining about it. So.
No, Disney did a little video today where Josh D'Amaro was walking around with the Tale Moana crew, or whatever the show's going to be called. That's going to go on the Treasure, and he was catching up with them.
Yeah, all right.
And I just yelled at my screen. It was like, "Go walk through a theme park."
That's fair. That's fair.
Good for the cast. I'm glad they all have jobs. Do a great show. I know they will.
Start
Not worried
putting
about it.
shovels in the rivers of America.
Yes. Go
I
get
guess
the
you
bucket.
probably, yeah, you got to get buckets first.
Go get buckets. Get that water out of there. Level it. Build Cars Land. Do you think they're not calling it Cars Land? No way.
No, it's an expansion of Frontierland. But it's really weird that
Well, yeah, that's true.
Frontierland is such a mishmash now, though, of out in Florida. Cars, Tiana, Big Thunder,
Mansion.
Country Bears. No, Mansion.
Oh, I guess Mansion's technically
yeah,
Liberty Square.
Mansion's, but like Country Bear, Tiana, Cars, and Big Thunder. Yeah, this all makes sense. Let's call it the Frontier. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, depends on how you view the word frontier.
Regardless.
And now everybody's going to come after us. Well, Walt said, I don't care. He's not here anymore. And you're going to get mad at me. But
hey, yo.
Would he have done these same moves, Christian?
He said that, not me. Or maybe he said. I don't know which side of the screen he's on, but I'm going to go that side.
I say Walt would have absolutely made these moves, not exactly the same way, right? He probably would have invested a little bit more in it, but he would have made similar moves.
He's on that side. He's the one.
You and I were talking the other day about how he even removed stuff from Disneyland and people weren't happy about it.
Oh, yeah.
He got over it.
He got on over it.
The dude was around for 11 years of operation of Disneyland and made changes.
Mm-hmm.
We're in year 70 right now.
Yep. Man,
more changes are coming.
Weird. That's so weird.
Yeah.
70 years of Disneyland. Get ready to celebrate it right here with. Just kidding. We're not going to care.
How about the resort out here in California? I call, we call it resort now. It wasn't a resort when Walt was around. It was just a theme park at first. Has been around for 59 years of operation, and Walt was only around for 11 of those.
Mm-hmm.
Or I'm sorry, it's been around for 59 years longer than
I was
Walt's been around.
I was like, are we getting ready to celebrate the 60th? Is that not in my nightmare?
Yeah, did we miss
was that just a nightmare? Was that not real life? Anyway, I remember the 60th anniversary. Quick sidebar: 60th anniversary. I was stationed at the Tomorrowland Theater handing out cupcakes, and I ate so many cupcakes that day.
So did I.
Oh, I should have died.
Remember, and this is a little behind the scenes magic that who knows? I didn't sign an NDA. Well, I kind of did, but when we did the showcase for the 60th, right? We got to see everything that was coming, and they gave us cupcakes at the end, and then and we got our new name tags and everything, and then like the day of the 60th, it was the same cupcakes, not literally the same. It was the same type of cupcake, and we passed them out to cast and everything, and I had like 13 of them that day. I was a mess.
Yeah, that's all right.
That's why I try not to go to work on major milestones because I just gained so much weight.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you a random behind the scenes action. It really has nothing to do with anything in this episode except for the fact that the trolleys are getting ripped out because of expansion of Avengers Campus. But back in the day when we were getting ready to open Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout, we had something called Summer of Heroes. And the Summer of Heroes was our team's way of trying to kind of tell people the story of the Avengers and why Guardians is all of a sudden here and how Tower of Terror was never here. Whatever, who cares, dude? Regardless, in one of the sessions, Joe Rohde was there. And I got to welcome Joe Rohde up to the stage. And then this man starts talking about how this is just a little blip on the expanding land of Marvel that we're going to have at Disney California Adventure. And then I was instructed to get back on the stage, take the mic out of his hands when he was done, and tell everyone to shut up and never tell anyone. But then they laid me off. So here we go. Gloves are off, boys.
That was quite a few years later.
Yeah, they don't really care anyway. Joe, you did a great job that day. But that was that's my little behind the scenes of this isn't supposed to be said.
I think you told me that. I think you told me that story before. So it was good. Like everything he said, neuralizer.
Shut it. Oh, that was still cool. Shaking his hand, welcome him to the stage. One of the best moments of my Disney career. Which ended abruptly because they laid me off.
My biggest Disney executive, if you will, that I met was Bob Iger.
Oh, I got to meet Bob too, yeah.
Easily the nicest guy. Everybody's dragging him through the mud right now, which, by the way, stop it. Don't do that.
Don't drag him because he can kick your butt. That dude is jacked.
He's like 6'4", 6'5".
Yeah.
I remember he was maybe a little higher than eye level with me, and I'm 6'3". So and
He's
he was that.
tall.
I said, "Hi, Mr. Hiker." He said, "Call me Bob." Literally, it was a totally cliche moment when I met him.
I shook his
That was at ESPN Zone too.
I shook his hand right next to Bob Chapek as
Oh,
they were taking a tour. And then he said, "Hey, we're going to lay you off in a couple months." Anyway, no.
right to your face. Oh, I know you. I got your personnel number right here. You were next, by the way.
It was targeted. It was targeted. No, couldn't have been nicer. And then yeah, I actually never met Chapek, and I was bummed about it, or because I never shook Chapek's hand. He was talking to the person that was next to me, and I was like, "Oh man, I didn't get to shake the new CEO's hand." And then whoop, Elton John concert comes on, and he's not there.
Oh, that's right. Oh, it was that night.
It wasn't that night. But
Oh. I've talked to Josh tomorrow several times. He's also a cool guy. We actually played in the company basketball league together.
Hey now,
which is funny.
how's his field goal?
No, he's not bad, and he plays hard, and he does not expect anybody to let him win.
Good.
Yeah, he's like, "Can you guys body me up, please?" And they'll do it. And I saw it. And he took a couple hip checks one game. We were the next game, so we were getting ready, for our game, watching the end of the game before us, and they were taking him. They were taking him out to the woodshed, and he was like, "Let's go."
Didn't he start in custodial back in like the 80s or 90s or something like that?
Perhaps I don't.
He knows where the bodies are buried, man. It got rough back in the day, probably. So he ain't going to be taking no favors.
And I remember one of the first couple times I met him, he was walking through downtown Disney, and he was introducing Rebecca Campbell to the resort because she had just taken over as president. And he stopped, and I was with my co-cast member, and he stopped and introduced us to Rebecca, and we had welcomed her to the resort, and we chatted for a few minutes. They were both very nice. I know Rebecca wasn't there very long. I think she was there maybe a little less than a year or something like that, maybe a little more than a year. I don't remember the number, but you can say what you want about putting on a facade when executives are like that, but I don't care that they put on a facade. That's kind of their job. Just be nice to people, even if it's not terribly sincere. I mean, it felt like it was. Just be a good person.
Politics. It's not hard.
Right? And that's what makes cast members feel valued. When those people stop and talk to the cast, and they always do. They just got a ton going on, and sometimes they're not around. That sounded more like a preach to the cast members than anything.
Calm down there, EP. Eric, before we go, I think there's an elephant in the room that we have to acknowledge.
What's that? My biggest Disney executive, if you will, that I met was Bob Iger.
Oh, I got to meet Bob too, yeah.
Easily the nicest guy. Everybody's dragging him through the mud right now, which, by the way, stop it. Don't do that.
Don't drag him because he can kick your butt. That dude is jacked.
He's like 6'4", 6'5".
Yeah.
I remember he was maybe a little higher than eye level with me, and I'm 6'3". So
he's tall.
I said, "Hi, Mr. Hiker." He said, "Call me Bob." Literally, it was a totally cliche moment when I met him. That was at ESPN Zone too.
I shook his hand right next to Bob Chapek as they were taking a tour. And then he said, "Hey, we're going to lay you off in a couple months." Anyway, no.
Right to your face. Oh, I know you. I got your personnel number right here. You were next, by the way.
It was targeted. It was targeted. No, couldn't have been nicer. And then yeah, I actually never met Chapek, and I was bummed about it, or because I never shook Chapek's hand. He was talking to the person that was next to me, and I was like, "Oh man, I didn't get to shake the new CEO's hand." And then whoop, Elton John concert comes on, and he's not there.
Oh, that's right. Oh, it was that night.
It wasn't that night.
Oh. I've talked to Josh tomorrow several times. He's also a cool guy. We actually played in the company basketball league together.
Hey now,
which is funny.
How's his field goal?
No, he's not bad, and he plays hard, and he does not expect anybody to let him win.
Good.
Yeah, he's like, "Can you guys body me up, please?" And they'll do it. And I saw it. And he took a couple hip checks one game. We were the next game, so we were getting ready, for our game, watching the end of the game before us. And they were taking him. They were taking him out to the woodshed, and he was like, "Let's go."
Didn't he start in custodial back in like the 80s or 90s or something like that?
Perhaps I don't.
He knows where the bodies are buried, man. It got rough back in the day, probably. So he's he ain't going to be taking no favors.
And I
Um,
remember one of the first couple times I met him, he was walking through downtown Disney and he was introducing Rebecca Campbell to the resort because she
yep.
had just shaken over as president. And he stopped, and I was with my co-cast member, and he stopped and introduced us to Rebecca, and we had welcomed her to the resort, and we chatted for a few minutes. They were both very nice. I know Rebecca wasn't there very long. I think she was there maybe a little less than a year or something like that, maybe a little more than a year. I don't remember the number, but you know, you can say what you want about putting on a facade when executives are like that, but I don't care that they put on a facade. That's kind of their job.
Mm-hmm.
Just be nice to people, even if it's not terribly sincere. I mean, it felt like it was. Just be a good person.
All it takes. It's
That's
not
all,
hard.
right? And that's what makes cast members feel valued.
Mm-hmm.
When those people stop and talk to the cast, and they always do. They just got a ton going on, and sometimes they're not around.
Yeah.
That
Yeah,
sounded more like a preach to the cast members than it did anything.
Calm down there, EP. Eric, before we go, I think there's an elephant in the room that we have to acknowledge.
What's that?
The end of the Drafting the Magic This or That Summertime Showdown. And the winner was the one that we had to disqualify one of them, because why would we put two of the same attraction in the bracket? Star Wars Rise of the Resistance, both at Hollywood Studios and Disneyland. So kind of both resorts won.
Well, now you know why we needed two of them. That's how popular it is.
There you go. Yeah. It is the winner all time, which means at some point we're going to have to get a trophy and put it. I'm just going to put in like scratching the metal, because we can't afford engraving around here at Drafting the Magic unless you sponsor this ad. Anyway, regardless.
To quote the comedian Gary Goldman, right? Usually when times are tough, the first thing that goes is the engraving budget.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. 100%. But congratulations to Star Wars Rise of the Resistance, the most overhyped ride in the history of the company, for getting its. Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No, it's
Name
not.
one ride that was more overhyped.
That was overhyped?
You can't.
Well, let me ask this question. Why was it overhyped?
Because it's just an okay ride.
No, it's not. It's a phenomenal ride.
It's an okay ride.
Look, just because it doesn't go 600 miles an hour because you want it to doesn't make it any less thrilling.
It's also based on the new movies, which is terrible. So, but I know, no, made for us, made for the get on the platform or get on the train. Yeah, whatever.
I do this? Why do I put myself through this every week?
Well, how about we just wrap it up then, Eric?
Okay.
Guess what, Eric?
Yeah.
There's so many ways to interact with the Drafting the Magic show, especially now that we're actually jumping back into our show. But first off, just to give everyone the truth, when we get into drafting, we ain't turning the cameras off. This is no longer an audio show. This was not just for the summer. You, me and you, both of us together. No, we are jumping into it. So you're going to be able to see us draft. We're going to have graphics for the draft that are actually pretty cool.
Nothing makes me happier than knowing you have to edit the pics onto the screen during the show.
Anyway.
That's how you earn your margaritas, my friend. That's what I'm talking about.
Finally, I've earned one margarita.
You've earned one? That's all I can afford.
See what happens when you give me two margaritas. Anyway.
Oh, my.
Regardless, make sure you like the show. Make sure you find us on Facebook, Instagram, X, Apple Podcasts. Let's go to Spotify. Let's go to YouTube. Subscribe. Ring that notification bell. Leave us a speak pipe and make sure that, I don't know, you follow Erik and Christian, Erik Pesolano, at Erik Pesolano, at Christian underscore. I don't even know my own handle.
It's
regardless,
we'll put it underscore Ilton.
Regardless, we'll put it somewhere. Make sure you're following us. And we're getting ready for a big season. We've got big guests, and at least plan to be on the show. We'll see if they return any of my. Just kidding. We've actually had a lot of people already reach out.
They return the messages quicker than you return the messages.
I'm telling you, man, we're excited. It's going to be a cool. I'm trying to give people a little. Oh no, maybe they want. No, we got some great guest judges already lined up. We're really excited to bring you this show. We don't have an official date yet, but I am thinking we're looking at the middle of September? Question mark. We'll see. I don't want to put a date on it, but we will make sure we post that up whenever we are ready to. Eric, let's get back to drafting this news breaking stuff when we break it 6 days after it's been released is just ridiculous.
In the words of Deadpool and Wolverine,
Uh-oh. Beep.
let's go. You can add the
Oh
bleep
my
in the middle there.
gosh. Oh my gosh, he said it. Oh, Eric Beth, I kind of don't want to, just to let you get thrown under a rug. Regardless, make sure you like and subscribe wherever you can. Leave a review on Apple Podcasts or in any of the comments. We want to know what you think of Drafting the Magic. Until next time, buddy. Hey, this is the last time we're friends. We are enemies next time we see each other.
Oh, it's good to be back.
Yes! Let's fight.